little bit of sunshine up on the cliffside there. It's a very foggy day down in the valley with our inversion. Not too bad of temps considering it's winter, early part of February. Not as much snow here in the mountains right now. Our snow level had been more, but we've been losing some of it, so we are in need of getting more, definitely. Got a little bit of a pond here. Howdy. Beautiful day out in the mountains again. It's not quite as snowy as a lot of times for it being February, but still beautiful. Got our beautiful backdrop here. It's one of our favorite places to come on a short hike. We're a couple miles in. But just thought I'd do a quick recap of some winter hiking things. I did a winter hiking class locally in the Bitterroot Valley, in the Stevensville area, and I told people that I would do a recap on that so they weren't trying to remember everything. And for the people in my group that didn't make it, and then anybody else out there on YouTube, I know there's a lot of different videos out, but anything you want to take from this video, it's just what I do, some of my input. And so yeah, told my group that I would do a recap, and I'm not going to go through everything I did at the class, but I'm just going to touch on a few basics, mainly so my group, when they come out with me, will know what to bring and on our hikes when we go out for the Bitterroot hiking group. So just touch a few things. I have a bigger pack than a lot of people take in the winter, a bigger pack than for my day pack. This is my winter day pack here, and it is bigger than most people even need to bring. Because I do bigger stuff out in the mountains, I have extra stuff in here that I want to have with me, and pretty much everybody going on my hike with me doesn't need everything I have. We're not going as far on the smaller hikes with the group, and I have some things with me that would be emergency gear for the group, you know. So everybody doesn't need everything I have. Most people can get by with a smaller pack. I do a smaller pack sometimes on short hikes like this even, but I don't always like to switch back and forth. So I usually just leave it in there. It's not a big deal for me to carry it, so it is what it is. But I'll just go over a few things in my pack. I don't have any ordered thing to any of it right now, but I do have one of the nice things for out and about is a sit pad, some sort of sit pad. I have a tarp here that I have things laid out on. Tarp works good. You can fold it, open it up bigger. You can fold it to whatever size you want to sit on, or if you want to put your pack and things on it. Sit pad, this is just a used bubble mailer that I got something in the mail before, and it's just handy, and it protects from the wetness of the snow and insulates a little bit from the snow, the coldness of it, so that's really nice. I have another one which blows up. It's an air pad, and it works really nice on the snow. It's small, lightweight too, but because it's an air pad, you just blow it up with some air, and it cushions gives some insulation from that snow too. But this one I would not recommend using by a fire, of course, because as soon as you get a spark hole, it is toast. It will not hold air anymore, of course. So this one I use on just simple day trips. We're not having a fire. I'll use this sometimes. the bubble mailer. Doesn't matter if it gets a spark hole. And that's cheap. This I got on a good deal, but used bubble mailers free. So, toss these things aside while we go here. Got some things. Just gonna toss out some things that don't apply as far as winter specific. I have my other basics of hiking gear that apply to any season. This is just kind of touch base on some winter stuff in particular. So for hands, I've got some wool glove liners I'll use sometimes when it's colder than what I need for those. Then I've got some kind of puffy mittens, synthetic, so if they get wet they still keep my hands dry, still keep my hands warm, even if they get a little wet. But these actually kind of shed the moisture pretty good. I wouldn't, roll snowballs and snowmen with them, but they're pretty good. When it's even colder, because we do some pretty cold winter stuff, I will layer some fingerless mitts. These ones you might have seen in another video. I made these for free. Some worn out wool socks, merino wool. I love merino wool. Cut the toes off, made a little hole where they were already getting a hole in the heel. They're free, and they fit really nice inside my mittens. So then I can just pop my mittens off, take my pictures with my camera when I need my fingers or do something else, and pop them back on. And these also, they fit the hand warmers. So we got the hot hands hand warmers. I always have these in my pack in the winter. Usually I'll even keep a pair of them in my pack, my camping pack, especially backpacking, in the summer, because we can get some pretty cold nights here. So just in case, but always in the winter. They can be good for using inside my shoes for my toes or my mittens for my hands. So you take one out and get it activated, and it fits right down in the bottom of my mitten. And then that way I can get my fingers warmed up extra fast, especially when I've been doing a lot of pictures or video with my fingers out in the frigid cold temps. They get cold. In my mittens they'll warm up, but they'll warm up faster if I've got one of these in there. And then we've got, so that covers hands. As far as feet, I kind of have a variety of hiking shoes or boots to wear depending on what I'm doing, where I'm going. But I'm wearing my ice grippers right now. I don't know if you can see those. I got the micro spikes by Catula. I love them. I'm sure there's ones by other brands that are great too. Those are the ones I happen to have. I've tried some other different things that just didn't work as well. These ones I really love. Our trails can get pretty slippery between ice or hard snowpack, variety of things, especially when it's incline. So, or there's been water melting across the trail and freezes back up. Water running across the trail in the spring will freeze up too. So winter and spring, they're really awesome. I have no slippage at all. I can go as fast as I can pretty much in the summertime when I have these on my feet, even on the icy stuff. And then I have gaiters. So the micro spikes, what I like about them too is that my bag got caught up here. They have this little bag they go into. They fit in this little bag, and small, lightweight, so I can keep it in my pack all the time, even just in case. Sometimes I don't know what the trail's going to be like. I have them in there. We could get a little ways in the trail, and then I decide I want them. So, and they go on and off really easy. They just stretch right over on and stretch around, and they stay on. Not like some of the cheaper stuff that I find along the trail that somebody lost. Then we have this is just kind of an impromptu video, so that's why I'm not super organized for it. Just wanted to quick get this out there. I've been meaning to do it and haven't gotten around to it. Too much other stuff going on. So these are gaiters. The strap goes around underneath your foot, and then it comes up onto your leg here and keeps the snow out from going down into your shoe, and also gives more wetness protection along there. They're great in the winter with snow. They're also great other times with on a trail in the spring with the rain, moisture, when you get the vegetation has all the wetness and you're kind of traipsing through. Great for that too. But definitely, even if the trail is pretty packed down, you don't always need them on the trail. But if you go off trail for something, then you're suddenly sinking in the snow. Keeps the snow out of your shoes. I didn't put them on for today. Just really didn't need them today, but I use them a lot. So I do recommend the gaiters. I recommend the ice grips, called traction devices. People call them ice grippers, different terms, but mine are Catula micro spikes if you want to look those up. And another thing that's nice is just some sort of rain pants. And these are a lightweight pair. I have a heavier duty pair as well, depending on what I'm doing, but these will give you wetness protection from the snow, a jacket for protection from the snow, the wetness, and which then goes into other layers. It's always best in the mountains to wear layers instead of just a coat. You know, when we're in town places, a coat is great, but when you're in the mountains and you're hiking, you're going to create heat going up and you don't want as much. So I use layers. So I've got caught my jacket there. So I start out with, I've got my base layer. Sometimes I'll wear a long sleeve base layer, sometimes a short sleeve. This one's short sleeve. Sometimes I can get pretty hot and even go down to short sleeve in winter if we're out in the sun and it's a warmer day. So just depends on what I want to wear. And then I've got my hoodie, and I do wear non-cotton base layer. I think that's very important for not wearing cotton next to your skin. I prefer not to have cotton, generally speaking, out in the mountains for any of my things, layers, but most importantly not next to my skin. So non-cotton hoodie, and then I have a vest that I use for extra body warmth without creating too much bulk on my arms. And this one's kind of a thinner one. And then I've got so hiking up, this is all I hiked in without the jacket. And I actually even got hot with just these couple layers over my short sleeve. Created quite a bit of heat because we were going up. And so I actually got pretty warm. And then when we stop, I always throw on another layer. So right now I just threw on my jacket because that's kind of all I needed for now. A lot of times I'll throw on more of my synthetic thin puffy, and this really adds a lot of warmth. It fits underneath my jacket, so a lot of times I'll do that. And then so usually in the winter time you're creating warmth, heating up, coming up, and then when you stop you're going to start cooling down. So always throw a layer on, an extra layer right away before you get cold. It's easier to hold that warmth in than it is to warm back up after you lose that heat. So that's pretty important. And either a hat or hoods. I like hoods, so I've got a hood on my hoodie there. My jacket has a hood, my puffy has a hood. I don't really prefer hats. Hoods work well for me. And then I have an ear warmer that I'll use, and a cowl. Those are good to have in the winter when it's colder. And else do I want to make sure that you're aware of? An extra pair of socks. So I wear merino wool socks in the winter time, and spare pair that you keep in something that stays dry. I have a dry bag, and that way if your socks get wet, you do have a spare pair you can change into. And usually I have some plastic bags in here too. I used them up. I need to remember to replace them. Because then if your shoes are wet and you change to dry socks, you put some plastic bags over the top, you'll get a little bit of dampness from sweatiness, but it will keep your feet drier from the outside and hold in more warmth. So just some sort of a cowl is good sometimes, when it's cold. So I'll use it, I have a few of these. I'll use one for a cowl and as an ear warmer as well. Thicker ones are nice when it's really cold. Just kind of depends on what we're doing and how cold it is for what I wear. And let's see. Just kind of differentiating between what's winter stuff and what's regular pack stuff. I'm not going to go into all that other stuff today. I do have Helium Emergency Bivy by Outdoor Research, and it's a big bivy bag. It works great over a sleeping bag to give more warmth, but it's also an emergency. If you got injured and you're out waiting for help to arrive, it will help give some more warmth. You could pair it with an emergency blanket, the reflective emergency blankets that most people are familiar with. You could wrap that inside with you and just create more warmth. So it pairs down, bundles down pretty small into this little bag. So it's just a nice something to have along as emergency gear. Day hikes, I'm not using it. It's just emergency. Winter backpacking trips, I will actually use it over my sleep system sometimes, depending on how cold and whether I need it. And I've got some I gotta pack all this stuff back in after, but some waterproof mitts to go over. They actually fit over these mittens as well, so I can layer my fingerless mitts with my mitten and also my waterproof mitts. So if you're doing a lot of stuff with the snow, this is a really dry snow today. It's not cold enough to be wet, but sometimes it is, and your stuff can get pretty wet. So those are nice to have. And I think I might have covered it. If I forgot anything, ask me in the questions. If you're at my class and there's something you remember from my class, yeah. So layers, as far as besides the rain pants or some slipovers work pretty good in the snow. Just some cheap slipovers. They don't have to be actual rain pants. When it's snowing, they shed pretty well. But sometimes I wear the leggings, kind of a mid-weight leggings with a skirt. I like the skirts because it gives me another layer from wind that kind of really helps block the wind a little bit better. They also, if they get damp from sitting and stuff, they dry out pretty good when you're hiking and walking because they just get more air, and so they dry out and that wetness isn't right against you. So I really like that. Actually, it's great for women. Sometimes I'm wearing some base layer leggings, long johns, thermals, whatever you want to call them. I'll wear them under hiking pants, and then a pair of slipovers or rain pants on top, especially if it's raining. I want the rain pants for more wetness protection. So it just depends. Again, merino wool socks, and yeah, I hope this helps to give you an idea of what to bring out on your hikes with me, especially. So layers, definitely warm for your hands. Mittens, I recommend. Gloves are great if you like gloves, but bring some mittens too, because sometimes gloves are just not warm enough. You get your fingers together they can warm each other up more. So I always recommend mittens in the wintertime. Bring them if you don't want to wear them, at least you have them in case you need them. Some kind of hat or hood, some warmth for your feet, and layers instead of a single coat. And yeah, something to sit on, keeps yourself warm. That's kind of the gist of it. So gaiters, and definitely ice grippers. Again, ice grippers, definitely for that traction. It's very important. And then trekking poles, they also get tangled up here. Trekking poles are great for grip when you're on icy trails especially. And wintertime I put my snow baskets on, and that's for when we have the deeper snow, especially when we're going off trail. I don't know if you can see them in the video, but they will not sink through the snow all the way. Sometimes when you got the deep snow and you go to use your trekking pole and it goes down, you know, a couple feet, it's not doing you very much good. So the baskets catch on that snow. People that ski and snowshoe already know about that kind of stuff. Same thing for hiking. But for those of you that are new to it, that's kind of helpful too. It's not necessary generally on our hikes, because I'm going to keep you guys to the trails mostly, not be doing too much off-trail stuff. So usually you'll be on trails, and I can loan you a trekking pole if you need to traipse off to use the bathroom in the woods. So yeah, hope this helps, and leave your comments if you have questions or other ideas of stuff you like for winter specific hiking. So see you in the next video.